with no deal with.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the NewsX Explained with me, Vineet Malhotra, and today we look at why the world's largest and most advanced aircraft carrier is heading towards one of the most volatile regions on Earth. In a major escalation of military signaling, US President Donald Trump has ordered the USS Gerald R, the crown jewel of the American Navy, to deploy to the Middle East. This is not just another routine deployment. This is the second US aircraft carrier now moving into that region. And it sends one unmistakable message. Washington is preparing for every possible scenario with Iran. Because aircraft carriers are not just ships, they are floating military bases. They are instruments of diplomacy and when deployed during crisis, they are also tools of pressure, deterrence and, if needed, war. And America's most powerful warship is on the move. Well, the USS Gerald R is being deployed from the Caribbean Sea to the Middle East, where it will join the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group already operating there. This creates a rare and powerful dual carrier presence in the region. The move comes amidst rising tensions between the United States and Iran, particularly over Iran's nuclear program, regional influence and stalled negotiations, and President Trump has been explicit about the purpose of this deployment. He has warned Iran that if negotiations fail, consequences could be severe and suggested military pressure may be necessary to secure an agreement, embracing potential regime change in Iran and declaring that tremendous power will soon be in the Middle East. Trump stated that it would be a bad day for Iran if the country fails to make a deal. Let's listen in.
For 47 years, they've been talking and talking and talking. In the meantime, we've lost a lot of lives while they talk, and legs blown off, arms blown off, faces blown off. It's been going on for a long time, so let's see what happens. In the meantime, we have tremendous power has arrived, and additional power, as you know, another carrier is going out shortly. So we'll see it out. If we could get it settled for once and for all, that'll be good.
Meanwhile, parallelly, reports state that US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will hold negotiations with Iran on the 17th of February in Geneva, with representatives from Oman acting as mediators. Now, this deployment is widely seen as a show of military strength, a deterrent against Iranian escalation, and leverage to force Iran into accepting US demands. In simple terms, this is diplomacy backed by overwhelming military power. So why does this matter? Well, aircraft carriers are amongst the most powerful military assets ever built. Only a handful of countries operate them, and the United States operates the largest and most capable fleet. When America deploys aircraft carriers, it means one thing: it wants to be ready to act immediately without needing bases on foreign soil. With two carriers now in the Middle East, the United States can launch large-scale air operations, strike targets deep inside enemy territory, and force air superiority, protect allies, and respond instantly to crisis. Together, they can deploy over 150 combat aircrafts, doubling the daily strike capacity against hostile targets. Defense analysts say that deploying carriers is often the clearest signal of military readiness amidst conflict, and America's deployment is directly linked to rising tensions with Iran. There are three major reasons behind this escalation. Firstly, nuclear negotiations. The United States is pressuring Iran to accept restrictions on its nuclear and missile program, as well as its support for proxy militias. The planned deployment comes as President Trump presses Iran to strike a nuclear deal, threatening military action against Iran if it does not agree to curb its nuclear program. Iran has resisted many of these demands, and Trump has warned Iran that failure to reach a deal could result in serious consequences. Deploying aircraft carriers strengthens that warning. Secondly, deterrence and military readiness. Military deployments strengthen negotiation positions. By deploying carriers, the US increases military pressure, strategic leverage, and deterrence against escalation. In essence, this is major military signaling. Finally, regional instability. The Middle East remains volatile due to Iran-Israel tensions, proxy conflicts, internal unrest in Iran, and recent military confrontations. This deployment prepares the US for rapid response. Significantly, Trump's decision comes days after he met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington. with Netanyahu stating that a good deal was expected, while voicing reservations if any agreement did not also curb Iran's ballistic missile program. Now, what makes the USS Gerald Ford so important? Well, the USS Gerald Ford is not just another aircraft carrier. It is the most advanced aircraft carrier ever built, which represents a new generation of naval warfare. Let's understand why. Commissioned in 2017, USS Gerald R. Ford is the lead ship of the Ford-class aircraft carriers. It is designed to replace older Nimitz-class carriers, and it is far more powerful. Its key specifications include displacement of around 100,000 tons for a carrier that is over 1,100 feet long. That is longer than 3 football fields. It can host over 4,500 personnel and has an aircraft capacity of more than 75 aircraft, has 25 decks, allowing it to function as a fully operational air base at sea. Operating at a speed of over 30 knots, it is powered by nuclear reactors, allowing decades of operation without refueling. Essentially, this is a floating city designed for war. Moreover, what makes it more powerful than older carriers is that the USS Gerald Ford introduces revolutionary technologies. Firstly, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, or EMALS. Unlike older steam-powered launch systems, Ford uses electromagnetic launch technology. This allows for faster aircraft launches, more efficient operations, reduced wear on aircraft, and higher sortie rates. Official US Navy data shows this allows the carrier to launch 160 sorties a day, a 33% increase over older ships. This means more air missions in less time. Additionally, Ford has cutting-edge radar capable of detecting stealth aircraft, tracking missiles, and monitoring vast areas, making it a powerful surveillance and defense platform. It also holds greater operational efficiency because the ship is designed to launch more aircraft missions per day, operate with fewer crew, and respond faster to threats. Simply, it is more lethal and more efficient. The carrier typically deploys with an air wing that includes F-35 stealth fighter jets, the F/A-18 Super Hornets, electronic warfare aircraft, surveillance aircraft, as well as helicopters. These aircraft allow the carrier to conduct airstrikes, reconnaissance, air defense, and anti-ship warfare. And if that does not seem enough, the aircraft carrier never operates alone. It travels with a carrier strike group, which includes guided missile destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and supply ships. Together, they make a formidable team offering missile defense, anti-submarine protection, air defense, and offensive capabilities in complete naval combat formation. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Group is already in the Middle East. Now, with the USS Gerald R. Ford joining it, the US will have 2 carrier strike groups operating simultaneously. This significantly increases American military capability in the region. Historically, deploying multiple carriers is reserved for high-tension situations or potential conflict scenarios. Not only that, normally aircraft carriers deploy for around 6 to 7 months, but USS Gerald R. Ford has already been deployed for nearly 8 months, and this deployment extension adds further strain. This suggests urgency. The United States is prioritizing strategic presence over routine maintenance schedules. US officials have described the complex process of moving military assets. Asked why a second aircraft carrier was headed to the Middle East, Trump said, "In case we don't make a deal, we'll need it. If we need it, we'll have it ready." This sends several messages: that the US is prepared for escalation if negotiations fail, that it is committed to protecting regional allies like Israel, and that the United States can project power anywhere at short notice. The deployment of USS Gerald R. Ford is not just a military move, it is strategic signaling. It reflects rising tensions and strengthening America's negotiating position. It also reminds the world of America's unmatched naval power. 2 aircraft carriers in one region dramatically increase military readiness. And when the world's most powerful warship moves into position, it changes the strategic equation. Because aircraft carriers do not just prepare for war, they shape diplomacy or influence decisions. And sometimes their presence alone determines whether war happens or is prevented.
With no deal with